Hi guys, this is the video for December 17th and 18th, our last week of December for teaching. Remember that for Christmas services, we will not be having any children's programming on Christmas Day. All of our campuses are closed except for one service at North Glen at 10:30, but there will not be children's programming there. Instead, we'll be doing and focusing our time on our Christmas Eve service, which is a family service. So just encourage your families to come back for one of our 3 Christmas Eve services. And just to enjoy the time of fellowship with their families on Christmas Day. Just another quick announcement before we get started. We are running the TCE program. It's the course that we use to teach teachers how to teach children how to tell the gospel effectively. So if that's something that you would like some more encouragement in, and it's something that you'd like to do better, or even just learn how to do it at all, we'd love for you to have to participate in this classroom experience with us. Miss Denise and Miss Lisa, myself and Miss Laura, we all teach this lesson. So you get to hang out with us. It's lots of fun. It starts Monday night, January 9th, and it runs for 10 weeks. It's a college accredited course, so you do get college courses if that's something that's interesting to you. And it's something also if you're a teacher or helper with children's ministry that the church will pay for the fee for the program. So if you are interested in this really great, amazing teaching resource, get in touch with any of your campus directors and they will put you in the right direction. So let's get started on December. So this particular week, we are still in prophecies. So you'll probably just want to start your lesson. Remember that you'll be in the sanctuary for worship time. So you won't be having any opening activity or any worship in class. So when you come to class, you'll probably do your memory verse or start with the memory verse, maybe start with your craft, I'm not sure. But by the time you get to your memory, or by the time you get to your lesson, we will be talking about prophecies again. So you might just want to recap a little bit about the prophecies of Jesus' heritage, where he came from, and then talk about what we talked about last week with the prophecies of his birth, that he came from Mary, that he was born in Bethlehem, and then he was brought from Egypt. So today we're going to talk about the prophecies, or this week we'll talk about the prophecies of his kinghood. So you'll be going back and forth between Jeremiah, actually your main passage is in Jeremiah chapter 23. And so you'll be talking a lot with the kids about how the Israelites, God's people, were expecting and waiting for a king. And the king they were expecting was definitely not the king they got. They were expecting a king coming in with, armor and swords and, a mighty, powerful king. And what they got was a king born in a manger. They got a king who served rather than asked to be served. And so you'll talk about how Jesus spent his time with the sick and the poor and always in the presence of sinners. He was a very, very different kind of king. What made Jesus so different wasn't just that he spent time with the unworthy, so, quote unquote unworthy, but it was the fact that Jesus came and he sacrificed himself for us. That by dying on the cross and rising again, Jesus was not only the King of Kings, but he was also the Lord of our righteousness. And so you'll talk a little bit about what that means, what Jesus came to do. He was born as a baby. He lived a perfect life. And ultimately, he came to sacrifice his life for us. And so you'll have sort of like a little mini gospel. We're not going to do an invitation, but we really want to make sure that kiddos understand just the importance of Christmas, that it's not about presents and packages and gifts and family movies and lights on our tree. It's that God loved us so much that he sent his son to be born here as a baby in a lowly manger so that one day he would grow and he would fulfill the greatest rescue mission of all time. And that rescue mission has to do with us and our sin and our problem. And so you'll talk a little bit about sin, and you'll talk about why we need a rescue plan, and why Jesus was the only one who could fulfill that plan. And our hope, my great prayer this month is that these kids will really walk away with an understanding, a precious understanding of just what Christmas is really about. It's about God's great sacrifice in sending his son for us, for each one of them, so that they may live eternally forever. So anyways, I just pray that God gives you guys the wisdom to teach this lesson, and that God just opens each kid's mind so that they can hear these truths and really embrace them in their lives. So after your class, after your Bible lesson, you'll have a craft, and your craft, it looks like this. Everybody has different styles of wood or hard paper. You'll have wood, you'll have aluminum foil, and you'll have these little etching tools. So essentially what you do is you give each kid a piece of aluminum foil, have them wrap one side. So the kind of crinkly side is on the back and it's a nice smooth side on the front. And then they'll use these etching tools to just finely etch patterns, shapes, designs on their cross. And then you can tape a piece of ribbon to the back and that can be hung as an ornament as well. So they can just get creative with it. They can do whatever they want. And if you have littler kids, if you have kind of the first grade, second grade, and you don't want to do the etching, that's totally fine. They're wooden, and so you can bring out, or hard paper, you can bring out markers, pencils, crayons, and they can just draw designs instead. So hopefully it'll just be a kind of a fun way for them to remember that Jesus is the reason for the season. So if you have any questions, just let us know. We'll be happy to help, and otherwise have a wonderful Christmas. I hope it is just full of hope, love, peace, and joy. Thank you guys so much for all that you do.